Hey peeps, this is Kizu. Welcome to my coverage of the 8.0 PTB for Dead by Daylight Dungeons & Dragons. This video has everything you could need to know about the PTB and is rather long. Feel free to use the timestamps to either go to the relevant sections or the TLDR conclusion at the end. Bubba Update. His base kit feels great, even too great now. His collection size should be increased slightly. The main issue is map design, and this makes him just a bit too forgiving for my and many Bubba Main's taste. Addons now feel genuinely sad. Chilies are worthless and might be worse than nothing since we have a hidden acceleration penalty. His speed addons also now have a top speed slower than the maximum life speed, which is just sad. Addons need a rework pass. In addition to this, behavior seems to just ignored his bugs for the most part. They did say they fixed one bug. Fixed an issue because of the cannibal's tantrum animation to sometimes not play after overcharging the chainsaw or hitting collision. But seemingly this introduced a new one because I got a new tantrum animation bug that I have never had before. The Lose Your Chainsaw DLC bug is still here, unfixed as far as I am aware. You can check out some opinions of experienced Bubba players I referenced in the forum thread linked in the description. Killer Perk Updates. All of these perks have received medium to minor nerfs. These changes are fine and don't really impact the usability of the perks too much. Deadlock, Grim Embrace, Pop, Pain Resonance, all of these perks are still very much effective, but not immensely oppressive like before. Looking forward to a rework to Deadman's Switch.
Let's finish this.
Wesker Updates. No one is spoilers while playing him. Feels my grade of the verse. That's it. Survivor Perk Updates. Background play. I don't like this change too much at the moment. I think the speed should be made to 200% again and the duration substantially reduced to effectively give the survivor the same distance total in less time. The exhaustion cooldown should be brought up to 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and the vigil is practically no cooldown at all for a perk like background player. Buckle Up. Fantastic rework. My only note will be perhaps giving Buckle Up user a 5 to 7% haste bonus for a few seconds, help me just get a bit more distance after using it. Invocation, Wooden Spiders, fantastic update. This perk is now an actually fun and risk to take, while not being too oppressive killer side. Decisive Strike, somehow more buggy than before. I don't think it should have been nerfed this soon. Please look into at least basing this down time based on generators left in the match if disabling the killer power buttons for 2 seconds is too difficult. Blight Updates. His areas are in a good spot now. They feel like a different playstyle, which is actually a balanced part of his base kit, which I love. This is what areas should be. Unfortunately, the rest of his addons still would dumb down, the collision change is still ass, so the best strategy remains just to break out and then follow up with power with zero counterplay by the survivor. Feels bad, man. Deathslinger Updates. Base kit changes feel fantastic and lovely, no complaints there. If we go into addons, however, issues arise immediately. Firstly, sound reduction addons do not stack. This was a bug for a while, it's just surprising this hasn't been fixed for truly enough time he has been touched, even specifically with these addons in mind now. Secondly, why the hell are we nerfing reeling speed addons? You can watch this clip courtesy of Star where you can see the old 9% addon doing less than nothing to reeling speed, so seeing it get nerfed to 5% is just depressing. Chucky Updates. Chucky feels fantastic in this PTB for me. Being able to actively use my power in an actually interesting way with less punishment and not have the brain dead scamper mechanic feels great. There are some issues though. Scampering is still manually available on Windows and results in much faster vaults. This should be also removed. Chucky Scamper is also currently stacked with vault speed perks. This should be removed and is presumably a bug. It's kinda insane. Please more of this. Toolbox Updates. I like the idea of this update, but it most definitely is in need of some tweaks. A sabotage speed buff after the best sabotage speed toolbox in the game was not needed at this scale. It should be toned down to still be the best sabotage speed, but not such a clear choice. Commodious toolboxes should not be as good as sabotage. They already are inarguably the best toolboxes in the game. They don't need any more further buffs. The group range addons should potentially be reworked. In my opinion, make it so you can probably like tank sabotaging through a hint or something. The despawning time modification is kind of just a bad game design. Seeing engineers and mechanics toolboxes not have a sab penalty is also great. No major complaints here. The new map and Borgo realm update. The nighttime feels less like nighttime and more some on HSL shifted the standard current Borgo realm from red to blue. I don't really fuck with it. Made genuine nighttime more dark, less blue balling. Visibility is markedly better though, so that's nice. And the new map, in my opinion, is poorly thought out and follows the same trend as Vecna. It's very thematic and cool and full of Easter eggs and reference. Unfortunately, translate to good gameplay, that does not. It's basically a very small Borgo map with only shack and a sprawling multi-level dungeon that has a pretty confusing and an unintuitive layout full of drop-downs. It also has a special passage mechanic that functions nearly identical to the Halloween event teleportation, so you can go between the dungeon and the upper parts of the map rapidly. Unfortunately, this doesn't really fix things. For example, let's say you're Oni in your power and you're charging the survivor on Midwich by the staircase to the upper floor. What happens? You just follow the survivor down the staircase and quickly down them. Now what happens on the dungeon? Okay, you follow him. Oh, he teleported. Oh, now you need to wait a few seconds. Okay, now you can charge again. Okay, now they're at the tile or your power runs out or both. It's just frustrating and doesn't mesh at all with fundamental gameplay of Dead by Daylight. This can even happen with simple lunges. You can coup de grab a survivor before they can make it to the bottom of the staircase, not through a passage. The new killer, Vecna. Speaking of things fanatic but not good for gameplay, the new killer, Vecna, the Lich, is one of the worst killer designs ever. He's also one of the best. It's going to take me a minute to describe in detail why. We need to first understand how he works. So Vecna is a normal 4.6 meters a second movement speed killer with a regular 30 meter radius. His power lets him have access to 4 spells, each with individual cooldowns. Flight, charge to take flight at rapid speed and float over paths and window wells, have no collision with survivors while flying, and enter a shoal cooldown after. Mage Hand, activate to either hold the pallet in place for a few seconds, denying a potential stun, or rapidly pick it back up after the survivor drops it to walk through it without wasting any time. Dispelling Sphere, launch a gigantic, albeit slow sphere that goes through anything and reveals survivors via kill instinct and disables for magic items for 60 seconds, more on those later. Flight of the Damned, conjure 5 skeletons that will rapidly fly through the environment, ignoring any obstacles and hit survivors they collide with. Their arc is akin to a horizontal shotgun spread, and they can be crouched under normally. Now, these powers sound quite strong. To counteract them, they decided they should add an RNG mechanic to the game that clearly has too little of that right now. Whenever facing the Lich, the trial will spawn 6 treasure chests. That's actually 5, 6. These chests generally contain different magical or rarely non-magical items to help you against Vecna. When you open a chest, you roll d20 dice. This can give you the following result. D1, a mimic appears and tries to eat you, injuring or downing you should you miss a skill check, permanently locking that treasure to your chest for the rest of the match. D2 to D5, you gain a regular item of poor quality. D6 to D19, you will gain a magical item, and D20, you will gain a magical artifact. I may be off slightly on some of those numbers. Those are still like not publicly shared on the wiki or anything, so you know, don't take these as complete gospel. But D20 and D1 are correct. So what are the magical items? Survivors facing Vecna will have 3 additional equipment slots: boots, gauntlets, and special. These are 4 item power. There are 4 item powers shared between the boots and the gauntlets. The only difference is which slot the item will go into. So, Night Watch, you will see the Aura of the Flight of the Damned. Skyguard, you will see Vecna while he's flying and shortly after. Archivist, you will be able to see the Dispelling Sphere. Interloper, you will see Ores of Pallets affected by Mage Hand and gain a 7% haste bonus for 3 seconds after Mage Hand is triggered. The special items are artifacts lost by Vecna himself. To use them, you will have to lose a health state, and their abilities are as follows. Hand of Vecna, after rushing into a locker, you will teleport or to another locker at least 10 meters away. I have Vecna after rushing out of a locker, gain complete invisibility, 25% haste, have no ways to be revealed by noise or scratch marks for 12 seconds. And after the effect ends, you will be revealed by Killer Instinct for 3 seconds. Now, all of this was pretty complicated, but I hope you understood that. And this complexity is the first problem with design. There's way too many moving parts and there's a lot to just play with or against, let alone make game design decisions on. Currently on the PTB, Vecna may feel rather underwhelming with a lot of cooldowns and such, but he is literally almost unbuffable. His kit has so many things going for it, but the most minor tweaks can send him flying past the S tier. Take Match Hand, for example. An ability a lot of people dismissed as bad because it holds a pallet for little time and then gives you a slowdown. While yes, the hold isn't useful much outside of gal pallets, the pickup ability is insane, letting you ignore non-stun drop pallets and just hit people through them immediately unless they have expected you to hit them with it and stun you again. Flight of the Damned, while crouchable under, can still go through walls and will hit you no matter what if you're vaulting, serving as an excellent zoning tool. With certain map geometry setups, you can also just make it uncrouchable. Flight, while having a rather strict cooldown, ignores anything in its way and lets you go off cooldown literally inside the survivor. It'd be insanely good with buff. Dispelling the Sphere is the one underwhelming part of this kit, but even it still disables the magical items of survivor hit for an entire fucking minute, which is a lot of time in DBD terms. All of these abilities can feel rather underwhelming, but even with one minor buff, will immediately go to game breaking overpowered, thus leaving him literally unbuffable. This even goes for his cooldowns. If this kid was able to juggle all of his abilities much faster, his aggressiveness would shoot through a roof. Another aspect of his power I don't like is the counterplay being largely left to items that are literally on a fucking dice roll. Dice rolls deciding whether you can teleport around the map, or you will lose out on an entire chest and potentially lose a health state. It can be fun for a few days, but long term it's just terrible for the health of the game. It also makes his abilities even trickier to balance. Mage Hand could be buffed so he doesn't feel weak versus Interloper, but then how would it feel versus Survivor who just got a Mimic instead? It's impossible to get it right, and behavior would screw this up. Arguably they have already. This kit cannot be buffed. This needs multiple years more in development so they could nail all the things in this kit, yet it's already out and it's just going to be bad for one side no matter what they do. The new perks for the killer. Dark Arrogance gives you 20% vault speed at the cost of blinds and pound stuns being 25% longer. I love this design, seems cool. Languid Touch, Survivor setting off a crow within 36 meters of you will be exhausted for 36 seconds and then the perk goes on to cooldown for 20 seconds. Seems pretty decent. On map with less crows it could be a little annoying, but usually maps have 10 trillion of them and you will ruin the life of anyone walking for a sprint burst. With Attunement, if an item is depleted for the first time, it's dropped automatically. Survivors within 8 meters of the dropped items will have their auras revealed. Picking up items gives you 30 seconds of ability status effect. My only piece of feedback for this is, why? The new perks for Survivor. Bardic Inspiration. Press the active ability the bottom while standing to roll a d20 and start playing for 15 seconds, empowering other survivors within 60 meters of you, depending on your dice roll. D1, Cosmetic Scream, no bonuses. D2, D10, skill checks right up plus 1% bonus progress. D11, D19, it rises to 2%. D20, a whopping 3%. After that, for 60 seconds, the buff will persist, even if your performance is over, unless you manually cancel it. This perk is only going to be used for BM outside of Swift. In Swift, it potentially be a monstrous hyper-focused juicer, making gens go instantly. Needs a rework stat. Make it give everyone on map luck or speed boost or something else. Please, just anything but this. Mirror Delusion. Repair generators for a total of 50% progress to activate. Press the active ability button near a totem, generator, chest, or gate to spawn a static illusion for 2 minutes. Deactivates permanently upon use. Kinda sad this perk deactivates permanently. The illusion 8 that can missing, and even with 2 minutes can have a higher risk of still not paying off. Don't know what to do with it. Deactivation needs to go though. Still Sight. Stand still for 4 seconds to reveal the aura of the killer, chest, and generators within 18 meters of you. Kinda crazy that boon elimination exists when this perk is a chapter later. Pretty cool perk. Would love a tiny buff too, so it's 3 seconds instead of 4, and the scaling was on the distance, not on time to stand. I'd also buff a radius to 24 to 22 meters. Alternatively, you can add more things to reveal to it. In conclusion, killer updates. Bubba, pretty decent, needs a lot of add-on love, slightly increase of hitbox. Deathslinger, pretty decent. Why are we nerfing wheel speed? Add-on love and fixes. Chucky, great. Please fix the wall speed issues and remove the window scamper out of slice of dice. Blight, great, his areas are finally sensible, and now all we need is for the last PTB to be reverted, and he will be in a pretty good spot. Wesker, great, 0 notes. Killer updates overall get a solid 8 out of 10 by me. Killer perk updates, these weren't perfect nerfs and were at the end of the day simple number tweaks, but overall this is a step in the right direction. Pop is still decent, Pain Resistance, Deadlock, and Grim Embrace remain quite relevant to the meta, albeit on surprises before. The DMS nerf 1! Killer perk updates get a solid 6.5 out of me. So perk updates, buckle up, fantastic. Maybe give a rescue a tiny speed boost for a few seconds to help with the anti-slide concept. Invocation, Winging Spiders, fantastic, no notes by me, which just seems like a great rework. Background player, I don't like it, I miss the old speed and don't like how lenient the exhaustion is for an auto-activated perk. Make it 2.5 seconds or 2 seconds and give it 200% speed boost and I'm down. Decisive, I don't super like it. Can we please at least make the killer power buttons unbind and make it not buggy? Survivor perk updates get a solid 8.5 out of 10 by me. The Borgo realm updates. It's too blue now! The new map is inherently a balancing nightmare and doesn't flow well with DB's gameplay at all. No real good things to say from me, at least you can see now if you're colorblind. The Borgo realm updates get a not so solid 4 out of 10 by me. The new killer. Vecna feels like a tale of a new game designer making the game of their dreams for years and years and then realizing that the concept is inherently flawed and kinda sucks. It screams of passion, dedication, and love for material, only for it to be a gameplay nightmare. Fundamentally unbuffable unless you're willing to ruin the experience for survivors. Expect it to be either super weak or super strong and super frustrating for one side or the other. Nothing in between is on the radar. The insane RNG aspect of the survivor macro counterplay is also just baffling. It's a complete sacrifice of gameplay to RNG and theme. You can balance the power on RNG of artifacts when one role has a survivor loss of health state and none lets them teleport and gain haste when you use your mage hand. The new killer gets a very unsolid 2 out of 10 by me. The new perks, Dark Arrows, seems cool, maybe not make it stack with Superior Anatomy. Language Attach, unique and actually very effective exhausting perks for killers. Neat. Weave Attunement. Who designed this? And why? I just want to know. Bard Inspiration. No. And also, no. Needs a new effect. Mirror Delusion. Well, it seems cool. Maybe don't permanently deactivate it. Still Sight. Pretty neat. Lower wait time and make the perk scaling be based on aura distance. Expand its aura capabilities either in range or amount of things to see. The new perks get a very solid 6.5 out of 10 by me. Overall, really cool patch, and I can't fault behavior too much for a lack of ambition for once. Unfortunately, this is the one time they should have been so ambitious. They bit off way more than they could chew. This patch itself gets a 9 out of 10 for me, and Chapter is a 3 out of 10, potentially 0 out of 10 depending on what change receives. We'll see. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video, pips. And also, if you don't mind, send me a buck or two and cover it, because it is getting really hard to make.